When I think of Oman, I remember the mountains, bordering the country almost as if to protect us from the outside, the quiet that would fall upon us as we marveled its monumentality. I like to think of the memories I've made in Oman like that. As somebody who doesn't speak her native tongue, I find it hard to connect with the place I'm supposed to call home, the place where so many memories are made, albeit the rocky relationship I've had with it. The complicated relationship doesn't come just because I don't speak Arabic. No, it's the fact that for so many years, I didn't live there. After the age of 7, Oman became a vacation, once or twice a year. My classmates grew up without me, and so did my family. The disconnection from a place that was supposed to represent my heritage, my religion, my culture, and identity, it was devastating. I felt alienated from the place I so desperately wanted to call home. It was as if those same mountains I'd adored so much were trying to keep me out. And so I yearned. Reminisced on memories long lost, experiences I might never relive. I became a cultural chameleon, my accent reduced to an Americanized international timbre. Not an Omani, but a child floating through a state of limbo, each place more unfamiliar than the last. The memories of Oman are fleeting and through a set of rose-colored glasses. I think that's what all my memories are. Fuzzy around the periphery, so close, yet so far away. When people used to ask me where I was from, I'd say Oman, but it felt like I was from all over. At that point, I'd lived abroad longer than I'd lived in Oman. It was a distant memory, a past life. When it became a reality in 2020, I wasn't sure how to feel. I suddenly had all these cultural responsibilities, visiting family at least once a week, never mind that I'd barely seen them since I was 7. Being placed in a school where many of my playmates from kindergarten were, once again having only seen them a handful of times before they became part of my everyday routine. Everyone had changed. There was no way that those old memories could become a reality again. I think that the hardest adjustment was realizing I'd moved back. When I was younger, I'd beg my parents to move us back to Oman. I didn't want Oman to be a vacation. I wanted it to be home. But once I moved back, I realized what those memories were. They were just that, not reality. The fog had lifted and the picture had come into focus. I wasn't 6 years old and running around with my cousins at our BB's house anymore. I just turned 15 and moved to a school whilst everything was still online. Oman didn't feel like home. It just felt like another place my parents had decided to move us to. It was unsettling and foreign. I had people talking to me in Arabic everywhere I went, and whenever I'd shake my head to admit I couldn't understand, I'd get an exasperated sigh and questioned if I was, in fact, Omani. The language barrier made me feel like I had to explain myself almost every time, and a pit of shame would start to bubble up in my stomach. My heart would fall, and I would plaster a smile on my face, claiming that I hadn't lived there for most of my life. The language wasn't the only difficult thing about living there. Socially, I'd find myself grasping at straws trying to communicate with my cousins. Being that I didn't grow up with them, I felt like an outsider in my own family. Their inside jokes and dynamic felt dampened by my presence. With time, I assimilated. I became closer with my cousins, looking forward to seeing them rather than dreading another family event. Unfortunately, I'd withdraw from classmates I'd known since birth. We were just too different. But there was a light at the end of the tunnel. When it came time to leave Oman as an international student, I might have felt relieved. I was ready to leave this chapter behind. It was arduous and a convoluted story I didn't feel like dwelling on. Suddenly I was in London living alone. I didn't have the comfort of family, at least not really. I couldn't eat my meals with them like I usually did. I didn't have my mother calling me downstairs asking me to help with something. The silence was deafening. My first few weeks abroad compelled me to move back, transfer to university in Oman that would satiate my needs, at least for a little bit. But I'm thankful. Not for nothing, moving away helped me appreciate Oman more. Now I look for the mountains and the clouds that lord over the UK. I'd urge my friends to visit, just so they could experience the magic of a place so different to what most of them have known for their whole life. Little things became clearer. The sunny weather, stunning beaches I'd made so many memories on, the mountain ranges I'd see on the way to school, home, and everywhere I'd go. The wadis, the Dimaniyat Islands, the sheer natural beauty that this country held and the other parts. The bustling souk, busy streets with maximalist shops advertising their food and products. Some days I wonder if the reason why I miss Oman so much is because of those rose-colored glasses, or because it's the promise of family. At the end of the day, I'm proud to call Oman home. Though I once felt like a stranger, the very mountains that seemed to shut me out now embrace me with open arms. A quiet reminder that I am, at last, home.